So today I decided that I wanted to get myself a couple of new books and I'm going to bring you along with me. I'm thinking probably like 3, 4, maybe 5 books. Depends what we end up coming across. The thing is that I don't do normal online book shopping. Like I'm not just going to go to like a random website and just start scrolling through books. What I do is anytime I want to get a new book, I go to my Amazon wish list and I pick a couple from there because my Amazon wish list is basically just a very, condensed, curated list, whatever it is that you want to call it, of all of the books that are very high up on my radar. Because anytime that I come across a book online, like the majority of the books that I get from either like TikTok or Instagram, or somehow it just came in front of my eyes, maybe BookTube or something like that. And basically, if I'm somewhat interested in the book, I'll go and look it up on GOODREADS. And if it sounds like it's something good, I'll add it to my want to read list on GOODREADS. But then for some reason, if I very much want to read it, I'm like, this is a book that I would purchase the next time I'm down to purchase a book, it goes straight up onto my Amazon wish list. So it's like, I've got a ton of books that I'm somewhat interested in on my GOODREADS want to read list, but my Amazon wish list is all the books that I would purchase for myself like any day. So we're going to go through all the books on there and then pick a couple from that list. And I haven't checked my Amazon wishlist in a while, but I do know that I have not updated it in a while. So that is going to be a little bit tough, because what I probably should have done was done a little bit of like, book one, what do I want to get sort of thing, and like add a couple extra to my wish list and then go through those. But I didn't do that. So we're just going to be stuck on with whatever has been there for a while. So with that said, I do have my laptop in front of me. It's charging so that it doesn't die on me. And I'm going to record my screen. And what I want to do is I want to quickly run through all of the books that I have on there. Why are they there? Because there aren't a lot of books to go through, because I have been a little bit lacking in finding new books that I'm interested in reading. And basically from that list, we will go and, decide to purchase them. So let's get started. First up, let's go all the way down to the bottom, because those are like my oldest ones. So first up, we have Crash by Harper Dallas. So that is actually the second book in a duology that I actually had purchased the first book the last time that I had made this video. So I'll have that video linked down below in case you wanted to check it out, because I did do this once before on my channel, like come book shopping with me type of thing. So I'm not going to get that, because the first book in the duology is still sitting unread on my shelves, but not because I don't want to read it, but because it is a snowboarding romance. And every time that I decide, I want to go and pick it up, I'm like, no. I should wait for a snow day, because it would be so much better if I read it when it's like the vibes are right. So that is waiting on my shelf for the next time that it snows. And therefore I cannot get myself this first book. And then next up is There With You. That's the second book in the Adar family series, and I'm not really down to get that. It's like a not murder mystery. It's some sort of like romantic suspense of sorts. I liked the first book. I'd be down to continue, but I am not itching to get that. So we will pass on that. And then Tease by Melanie Harlow. I have absolutely no clue what this book is actually about. I have a feeling it's like maybe a friends with benefits thing. I don't know. Should we go check out quickly what it is? That would probably be the smart move. So I didn't mean to say I was engaged to a hot billionaire. It just slipped out. In my defense, I had a really bad haircut, a really strong drink, blah, blah, blah. Lucky for me, I happen to know a hot billionaire. Okay, so they've been best friends. So it's a best friend, fake dating, whatever it is. You know what? Maybe. We'll add it into my cart for now. I'm not sure if I'll get that though, because even though I like Melanie Harlow, I honestly have only ever had one 5-star read from her, which was Ignite, which is a book that is part of this companion series, except any book that I've read after that, and I have read a couple, have never lived up to that one. So I don't have extremely high hopes for her as an author. She's a very like 3 stars to 4 stars sort of read for me, but I'm still down for those sometimes. So we will think about this. Anyway, next up we have Faking Miss Right by Carrie Kinsley. I honestly have no idea why that's there. I don't remember what this book is about, and I have a couple of books by Carrie Kinsley, and I'm sure that that's why like somehow this made it onto the wish list. Like I had seen it one time and I'm like, I like the author, so I'll add it. No clue what that one's about though, and I still have books by her on my TBR that is like, sitting there, and basically I don't think that I should get any more books by her until I finish the ones that I already have by her. So we'll pass on that one, and then same goes for, the Miles series. That's the first book in like, a series that's connected to the series I've already read. I forgot what the series was that I had read that I'm in the middle of reading. I have 2 books left in the Bailey Brothers companion series. Is that what it's called? I honestly don't know. But anyway, this one is one that technically comes before it, and I decided that once I finish that series, I still have 2 books left, I will go backwards and start this one, but that has not happened yet, so we will pass on that. Anyway, next up, 4-Letter Words by J. Daniels. So this is a book that is part of a companion series from Down Too Deep, and I actually really loved that book. It was like a double single parent sort of story, and it was so random for me. Like, one of you guys had actually given me the rec when I had done one of those like I will find you like a specific type of book rec thing. I don't know, it was like one of those videos, and somebody had commented like, oh, this is a book that has 2 single parents and they really enjoyed, and I ended up just like randomly purchasing it. It ended up being amazing. So I added this one on to my wish list because of that, but I honestly don't know what it's actually about. So you know what? We will consider this book for now, and I'll add it to my cart for now. Next up, we have The Wild Heir by Karina Hall. So this is a book that is connected somehow to The Nordic King, which is a nanny, single dad, royalty sort of romance. And I enjoyed it at the time that I read it. But honestly, I'm not feeling the royalty vibes at this very moment, so we will pass on that one. Next up, Mile High by Liz Tomford. Is that the author's name? I don't know. It's very tiny over there. But anyway, this next book is, I'm not too sure. I'm assuming that it has something to do with like, the Mile High Club. Maybe she's like a pilot or a stewardess or something along those lines. I'm thinking that this might be a sports romance as well, because I know that this author is very good friends with Becca Mack, and she is like, a hockey sports romance sort of author. And I have heard good things about this book, but I'm not feeling that type of romance at the moment, even though I don't even know if I'm right about what that romance is. But either way, we'll pass for now. Next up is Marriage for One. So I actually already read this book, but I read it via audio, and I'm like, you know what? One day maybe I'll get myself the physical copy, but that day is not today. Next up is Serpents of the Wing of Night. The Serpents, the Wings of Night. I don't know, whatever. Either way, we're not getting that book now because it's fantasy, and I do have a couple of fantasy books that I am interested in reading that are still on my physical TBR. So no new fantasy until I read the ones I already have. Next up, we have Heartless. This is another book that I had already read. I had read that when I had a Kindle Unlimited membership, and I didn't absolutely love it, but I liked it enough that I want to add it to my library one day possibly. But again, that day is not today because I want to purchase myself some books that I am actually going to read, and this one will just like go straight onto my shelf to like live there forever sort of thing. So we'll pass on that one. Anyway, next up, this is Church by KG Ruse. So this book, I had only seen one person ever talk about it on TikTok, but this girl that I follow on TikTok, I forgot her name. I will try to find it if I can remember. But either way, she is obsessed with this series. It's some sort of like reverse harem, bully romance of sorts. I don't know if that's fully correct, but either way, she talks about this series all the time. And for some reason, I decided to add to my wish list. I'm like, maybe one day I will give it a shot. But again, I'm not feeling like reverse harem romance, bully-ish sort of thing right now. So that day is not going to be today. Next up, we have Falling Embers by Catherine Cowles. And then I also see that we have Fractured Sky by Catherine Cowles. So I'm curious to know which one is which, because there is one that I'd be down to get and there's one that I'm not down to get at the moment. So this is book 2 of the Tattered Torn series. This is the one that I'm not so interested in getting right now, because I know that this is about a brother's best friend. She's liked him for a very long time sort of thing, and I'm not down to specifically read that one. So we will pass on that. Let's see which one this is, just so that I don't add it to my cart and then get the wrong one. So Damaged, Broken, Destroyed. I've heard it all. A Single Moment, Trusting the Wrong Person, Shattered My Life into Pieces, and My Family Has Never Looked at Me the Same. It's impossible to convince them that I'm anything more than broken. Oh my God, this is the one that I want to get, because this is the girl that this entire series started off with the fact that this girl was kidnapped as a child. And then in the first book, the main girl is the one that actually had saved her, because her father was the one that had kidnapped her. So she went to the police to go and like tell on her father and therefore save this girl. And then the rest of the series is basically surrounded by the family of the girl that was kidnapped. And it's pretty solid already. Like, I have read 3 of the books so far. I've been reading them very out of order, but I've enjoyed 2 out of the 3. And this one I am very down to read. So we are going to add Fractured Sky to my wish list, because the next time that I want a romantic suspense book, that is the one that I think I'm going to want to read. So that is that. Next up, we have The Archer, His Rosebud. So you know what? This book is extremely random, and this is actually a book that I had added to my wish list because of that girl that had talked about church a lot on TikTok. And I have no idea what this book is about, but I am not down to read it for some reason. So we're not even going to look it up, and we're just going to pass for the very moment. But anyway, let's move on. Next, we have Nightshade by something something. I don't exactly know what this book's about. There are a couple of people on Instagram that I'm friends with that really like this series, and I had added it to my wish list at one point because I'm like, if I'm down for whatever vibe that cover is giving off, I will purchase it. But that vibe, for some reason, is not today. So again, we're not adding that one to my cart. Next up, we have this book called, I have no idea, something by Kelly Collins, and I don't even know what it's about, but that is a book that I actually added to my wish list because I'm going to Book Bonanza, like, at the beginning of next summer, and therefore I wanted to kind of get myself a little bit ahead on reading some books by authors that are going there that I have not yet, discovered of sorts. So at one time, I actually went through the entire lineup and I went through every single author and I tried picking out some books that I might be interested in reading, and that is one of the books that ended up making it onto the list. And that same exact story goes for the next three books: The Single Dad by Marnie Mann, as well as Piper Rain's Lessons from When I Stand. Like, all three of these books, I'm pretty sure that those authors are going to be at Book Bonanza, and that's why they are there. But I'm not really down to read any one of those. So the thing is that this first one, that's only like $8.99, I'm not having great feelings about for some reason, just based off the cover. So we are going to pass on that for now, because you know what? I know that you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but that's exactly what I'm going to do at this very moment. And then The Single Dad by Marnie Mann. So this is a book that I actually see very often on my Instagram, and that's kind of why I decided to add it to my thing, because you know what? I'm a fan of single dad sort of romances in general, but then I always never actually end up purchasing this book anytime that I'm like looking to get some new books, because for some odd reason, I keep seeing like one or two random bad reviews that kind of like really pull me down from all of the good reviews that I've been seeing. And therefore, like, for some reason, I just don't get good feelings towards this book and this author in general. Like, I have a feeling we're not going to work well together. So I'm going to pass for now, because I'm really down to just get like, not a ton of books, and I want to get books that like I know I'm going to want to like pick up the second that they arrive. So we're just going to pass for now. But either way, this next one, A Lesson from a One Night Stand, this one has been on my wish list for a very long time, because last year when I went to Book Bonanza, I think that this book somehow got on my radar. I don't know if the author was there or somebody had just recommended me this book at the time, but either way, I'm almost positive that this author is going to be at Book Bonanza this year. And therefore, I've been wanting to read like a book from her for a very long time, and I just never got around to reading it. The thing is that at one point, I had found this ebook on sale for free. Like, sometimes like ebooks, they just go on sale for free for like a couple days here and there. And I got very lucky to have come across this one when it was for free. So I actually had purchased the audiobook for $0 and I added it to my Kindle, except I'm not very big into reading ebooks, but I collect them anyway in case one day like the mood hits, or for some reason I don't have a book on me and I want to start a book. And it's like, I collect books. If they're free, I'm going to take them, even if I don't really like reading that format. And this is one of the books that I had gotten that way. And therefore, I feel like it's a little bit wasteful to purchase the physical book if I can literally read it as an ebook, because I've never read this author before. So it's like, why would I waste my money on an author that I'm not sure if it will be good or not? I should probably just test it out via the free version. So that's why I have this one on my wish list, because for some reason I'm like, if somehow it ends up in my house, I would still give it a shot, probably quicker than I would the ebook, but I'm not going to purchase it myself because I have the ebook. You see the issue here? Either way, we're going to move on. Next up, I have Love Like Farms by KB Borison. So I'm adding this one to my wish list because I have not read a single like Christmas themed romance yet, and I've been seeing such good things about this book and this author in general. Like, I've seen so many people read them and say just that it's like really, really, really amazing. So I'm gonna give it a shot. It is a best friend sort of romance. I don't know if it's like got more than that going on, but I'm pretty sure these people are like childhood best friends. Maybe they're gonna fake date, maybe they're just gonna have a romance. Who the hell knows? Either way, I am going to give that one a shot, because I feel like if I'm going to read it, I have to read it this month. So therefore, get it now so that I don't miss my opportunity, have to wait an entire other year until I'm in the mood to read it again. Next up, we have Locklands. This is the third book in a fantasy series that I have been kind of following since the first book had come out. I never read the series, but I do own the first two books, and I kind of kept waiting years and years until it was finally completed. And because of COVID, like, this book just kept getting pushed off for like years and years. Like, literally, like, I started collecting these books like probably like, I don't know, 3 years ago, and the second book was like coming out at the time. But either way, I have to get the third book before I decide to actually start the series, except I'm not in the mood to start the series, so I can never get myself a third book. So it's kind of like, one of those circles where it's like, I'm just probably never going to read the series, but I have it on my wish list in case one day, for some odd reason, I get into the mood. So we're gonna, just leave that on my wish list for now. Anyway, next up we have Tempt by Melanie Harlow. So this is actually a newer release from Melanie Harlow. I don't know what this book is actually about, but I have been seeing good things. So let's quickly just check, even though I already added to my cart, because I do think that if I'm gonna get a Melanie Harlow book, I do want to get this one over the other one for some reason. But anyway, you've heard the story about the wedding planner who falls for the groom. Well, this is one where she falls for his father. Okay. And the groom, he's my ex. Okay. I didn't realize who the gruff, gorgeous older man was the night that he rescued me from a creepy Manhattan hotel, but he probably ended up being, her ex. Okay. You know what? I actually don't want to know too much about this. This one sounds pretty freaking good. So we're going to add to my list. Next, I have Torn by Carrie Ann Cole. So I actually read this book via audio, and I wanted to get myself the physical copy because I really did enjoy it. But I'm not going to get myself the physical copy now because I'd rather get a book that I, have not read yet so that I could actually, read it once I actually get it. So I do want that book in general. Like, I'd love to add it to my library, but that day is not going to be today. Next up, I have Playing Hard to Get by Monica Murphy. So this is actually her newest release. It actually came out probably last week or so. And I definitely want to give it a shot because I've been seeing really amazing things about it. I believe it is some sort of sports romance. And the only reason I'm saying that is because the cover looks like it's a sports romance, but I know nothing else about that other than the fact that people have been liking it. So we're going to get it and just check it out for myself. And then this next book is Anastasia by Sophie Lark. I am 1000% getting that book because that is a new release as well. It came out this past week and I have just been seeing raving reviews. Yes, I've seen raving reviews and that's because it is release week. So therefore everybody's just hyping it up. But I have faith in Sophie Lark. She does not usually disappoint. And this is a fantasy series. And I am a massive fan of Anastasia, the movie. Growing up, that was one of my favorite movies of all time. So this is a fantasy romance, some sort of dark retelling of it. And I am here for it. And I am so excited to read that book. But anyway, after that, we only have 2 left. We're all the way at the top. So this next one is The Devil with His Due. I don't know. I can't read that because it has very tiny writing. Oh, it says it right here. The Devil Gets His Due. We are going to get that book because it is by Elizabeth O'Rourke and I have read the majority of her books. And also I've read every book in this series so far and loved all of them. So there's 3 books already. I read them completely out of order, but I really, really enjoyed them all. And I am assuming that this book will be just as good. So we're going to get it. And then the last book that I have is Fling by Adriana Locke. So I actually had recently read the book that came prior to this one in the companion series. I think it was called Flirt, and unfortunately I did DNF that very early on because I was not vibing with it, and I do not have the best of luck with Adriana Locke in general. So even though I am somewhat down to give her one more shot with this book because I recently saw somebody that I very much trust give this a very good review. So I'm even though most of her books do not end up working out for me so well, I might give this one a shot just because of that one person that gave it a very good review. So I'm not going to do that one today, but maybe one day in the future I will. So that is every book that was on my Amazon wishlist. Honestly, I thought that there was going to be even less books than that. So I'm a little bit happy with the amount of choices that we started off with. But now let's see what was actually in my cart because it says that I have 8 books and I don't think I really want to get 8 books right now. So let's see. We have 2 Melanie Harlow books. So it's either a best friend's fake dating scenario or the ex-boyfriend's father. I think I'm going to go with the ex-boyfriend's father. So we are going to save this for later. I'll probably just delete it, but whatever. This is 4 Little Words by Jay Daniels. So I don't even really know what this is about, but there's only 1 left in stock. So I feel like that is a sign that, maybe it's that last one is for me, but let's see what it's about first. This girl was never so mortified to hear the words wrong number in her life. She meant to tell off the guy who broke her best friend's heart, but unleashed her anger on a perfect stranger instead. And now her world is turned upside down by the captivating man who wants to keep her on the line. This guy is living a life he's quickly come to hate until Sydney ran him hooked and hungry for more. Soon, the sexy woman on the phone becomes the lover in his bed, but Brian has secrets, and the closer he lets Sid get, the harder it is to shield her from the devastating mistakes of his past. That does sound interesting, but for some reason, I'm not itching to get it. Let's think about that for a second. I really do want to get this Catherine Cowles book because the next time I want a romantic suspense book, I have to have one on hand, and this is the one that I want to have on hand. So I feel like I should really get that one. And then Love Life Arms, I have to get. It's the time of year. I got to read it now. Tempt, I do very much want to get. I'm down for that sort of storyline. And then these 3 are all new releases, which I'm really feeling like getting. So how many books do I have? I have 7. What did I originally say that I wanted to get? Maybe 3, 4, or 5? Seven's not that bad. And honestly, the only one that I'm like not really itching to get is 4-letter words. Even though it's last one left, I'm sure that there will be more to come in the future. So I think I am not gonna get that one. Maybe I'll regret that later, but that is what like my gut feeling is telling me. So what am I up to now? I'm up to 6 books, and honestly, I kind of want to get all of these. So I think that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do this like while I'm on, the camera with you guys, but these are the books that I'm going to end up with. So the second that I finish filming, I am going to go and actually purchase these, and I'm so excited to get them. So thank you so much for coming along with me while I chose some books to get. I know that I got more than I said I wanted to, but honestly, that wasn't a hard number. That was just like in my head, I didn't think I had a lot of options, and then I ended up having more options than I thought. So I'm just gonna get all the ones that I want, because honestly, I see myself reading all 6 of these pretty freaking soon. So either way, with that said, if you had fun coming along with me while I, went a little bit book shopping, is that how you say it? I don't know. Either way, thank you for watching my video, because I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to my channel if you are not currently subscribed, because I would really appreciate it. But either way, with that said, until next time, enjoy reading.